Hi, welcome to my video on rationalize the denominator of a fraction with a binomial square root radical. The previous videos talked about rationalizing a denominator which was a monomial. Now we'll do a binomial denominator. A binomial has two terms. Recall, two irrational binomial numbers are conjugates of each other if their product is a rational number. A plus root b, the conjugate is A minus root b. A minus root b, the conjugate is A plus root b. Note the second sign is changed to the opposite. It's the second sign, not the first. Not both. The second one. Plus to a minus, minus to a plus. Binomial, 4 plus root 6, conjugate, 4 subtract root 6. 3 subtract 2 root 5, 3 plus 2 root 5. Negative 7 minus root 3, negative 7 plus root 3. Negative root 5 plus 4 root 11 is negative root 5 minus 4 root 11. Notice the conjugate has the second sign plus to a minus, minus to a plus, minus to a plus, plus to a minus. But the first one is not changed. 4, 4, 3, 3, negative, 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 negative. Only the second one has changed. In doing that, we're going to rationalize the binomial denominator. And we do that by multiplying by the conjugate. The conjugate of 2 plus root 3 is 2 subtract root 3. And we balance it by multiplying the top by the same binomial radical. And when we do that, 1 times 2 is 2. 1 subtract times negative root 3 is negative root 3. Now, let's multiply this out. I'm going to do this two ways. First is 2 times 2. Outside is 2 times negative root 3, which is 2 root 3, negative 2 root 3. And positive root 3 times 2 is a positive 2 root 3. And continue. And the last is positive times negative is a negative, and root 3 times root 3 is 3. If we do the conjugate right, that means the two middle terms should cancel. So this becomes 2 subtract root 3 over 4 subtract 3 is 1. So the final answer is 2 minus root 3. When we rationalize the denominator, we make the denominator a rational number. Instead of an irrational number, we make it rational. And another way to do that, if we multiply this, let's take this multiplication here. 1 times 2 is 2 minus 1 times negative root 3, negative root 3. If you want to multiply this out by a FOIL, like this, and cancel out those two, but because they're conjugates, we really can go 2 squared subtract root 3 squared as a shortcut. So 2 minus root 3. Because they're conjugates, you can square this one and the negative upward subtraction of that one squared. So that gives me a 4. Subtract root 3 times root 3 is 3. And we get to the same answer, 2 minus root 3 over 1, which is 2 minus root 3. So it's your choice. Either FOIL this out and then simplify, or because they're conjugates, you can square the first term and subtract the square of the second term. B, the conjugate of 3 plus root 7 is 3 subtract root 7. And we do that on top and bottom to balance it. And when we do, the top becomes 18. Make that an 18. Subtract 6 root 7. So 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times negative root 7. Negative 6 root 7. And again, if you want, I'll just do the FOIL here again. 3 times 3 is 9. First, outside, negative 3 root 7. Inside is positive 3 root 7. And the last root 7 times root 7 is a negative 7. And they cancel out, so that gives us 18 subtract 6 root 7 over 2. And notice 2 can divide into both of these. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we get 9 subtract 3 root 7. And again, if you want, you can square those to get a 9 and square those to get a 7 and subtract, and you'll come up with the same answer. So this is a little bit longer by FOIL, but the shortcut is, the bottom is 3 squared minus root 7 squared, which is, multiplying these quickly, and that gives you 9 minus 7, which gives you a 2. It still gives you the same numerator, but instead of doing all the FOIL, if you practice doing this quickly, again, because they're conjugates, you can square the first one, subtract the square of the second, and get there quicker without doing FOIL. But practice until you know what you're doing. Make sure. When you know what you're doing, you can take the shortcuts. But if you don't know, you're not sure, then don't take shortcuts. Simplify this one. The conjugate of 2 minus root 5 is 2 plus root 5. And it's 2 plus root 5 on the top also. That's root 5. And when we multiply that, because we have binomial times a binomial, first 3 times 2 is 6. Outside 3 times root 5, 3 root 5. Root 5 times 2 is positive 2 root 5. And the last is positive 5. And again, if you want to do FOIL on the bottom, let's go. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times root 5 is a positive 2 root 5. Negative root 5 times 2 is negative 2 root 5. And root 5 times root 5 is 5. And a negative times a positive is a negative. Remember, they cancel out. And that gives us 11 plus 5 root 5 all over negative 1. And you should not have a negative in your denominator, so negative 1 into 11 is a negative 11. 5 divided by negative 1 is negative 5 root 5. And again, you can square the 2 to get 4, and you can square the root 5 to get a 5 and subtract without doing the FOIL, but that's your choice. Practice. Rationalize the denominator of each. So practice means you work out these ahead of time. So you can work out each one of these, and when you have them, each one done, press play to get the answer and then do the next one. Here we go. The conjugate of root 10 minus 3 is root 10 plus 3. And we do that top and bottom to balance. And that gives us 1 times root 10 is root 10. 1 times 3 is 3. And the FOIL, or the fast way, I'll just do the fast way right here. Root 10 squared minus 3 squared gives you 10 minus 9, which is 1. Or I can do it by FOIL. Root 10 times root 10 is 10. Root 10 times plus 3 is plus 3 root 10. Negative 3 times root 10 is negative 3 root 10. And negative 3 times plus 3 is a minus 9. And that gives us root 10 plus 3. They cancel out. And we get, there's a minus 9, sorry. Negative 3 times plus 3 is a negative 9. And 10 subtract 9 is a negative, is 1. And dividing by 1 keeps the same. Root 10 divided by 1 is root 10. 3 divided by 1 is 3. So you can either do FOIL again or work it out the fast way to get to 1. Your choice. And the conjugate of 3 plus root 3 is 3 minus root 3. And we balance it on top and bottom to make it equivalent fraction. The top, 2 times 3 is 6. First, outside, 2 times negative root 3. root 3 times 3 is a plus 3 root 3. And a positive root 3 times a negative root 3 is a negative 3. And again, the bottom, if you want to do FOIL, great, but I'm going to do it the fast way now. That's because they're conjugates, I can go 3 squared minus root 3 squared. Why not? Get used to it. So the top becomes 6 subtract 3 is 3, and negative 2 plus 3 is 1. And that's all over 9 minus 3, so that's 3 plus root 3 over 6. And it's simplified, unless you want to write, you could, but it's your choice. You could go 3 over 6 plus or minus root 3 over 6, and 3 over 6 becomes 1/2, and you can't reduce, you can't cancel the 3 and the 6 because that's an irrational number, that's a rational number. So you can leave your answer like that as one fraction, or you can put the 6 as a denominator of both of these and reduce. They're your choice. And rationalize the denominator of this one. Let's see, the conjugate is 5 plus 3 root 2, 5 plus 3 root 2, top and bottom. Okay, we're going to multiply that. So 4 times 5 is 20. That's the first. Outside is 4 times 3 root 2 plus 12 root 2. Negative root 2 times 5 is a negative 5 root 2. And we have a positive times a negative, so that's a negative. So let's multiply root 2 times 3 root 2. So 3 times 1 is 3. Root 2 times root 2 is 2, so that gives us a 6. So notice I did the workings on the side rather than keep writing it down. So when you multiply these two, do it on the side and then put the answer in as negative 6. And we want to do this the fast way. We can go 5 squared subtract 3 root 2 squared. That's the fast way. Or FOIL it out, your choice. Anyway, when we simplify this, 20 subtract 6 is 14, and a negative 12 subtract 5 is a 7 root 2, and that's a 25, and 3 root 2 squared times 3 root 2. 3 times 3 is 9. Root 2 times root 2 is 2, so that gives me an 18. And that's 14 plus 7 root 2. And 25 minus 18 is 7. And 7 will go into both of these. Notice, if you want, you can say 14 divided by 7 plus 7 root 2 divided by 7. Remember, the denominator you can take this fraction here and express it as the sum of two fractions. 14 divided by 7 is 2. 7 divided by 7 is 1. So that's just root 2 as your final answer. You would not be able to leave it like this unless you divide 7 into both of them. 7 into 14 goes 2. 7 into 7 goes 1. So you have to simplify this further. And that brings us to the end of rationalizing fractions with binomial radicals. If you like, click on my like button, click on the subscribe button, click on the notification bell because there's more videos coming your way. And also visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content on my YouTube channel. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you very much for viewing it. Bye-bye.